Welcome to Wanted Down Under, the show that follows a British family 10,000 miles across the world in search of a better life. Although he's never been there, Ian Martin's convinced a new life in Australia would give him and his wife Joanna much more quality time with their children, 6-year-old Connor and 2-year-old Kira.
You know, if I can finish work and then take the kids down to the beach, then I think that's what we're looking for, really.
Joanna, a nurse, would be the main visa applicant, so her opinion's crucial.
You know, we've got a really good life here, we've got good jobs, nice house, good family and friends. So I think perhaps going to a new country, a new city, a whole new way of life, that is a tough decision.
And because Ian lives with a disabling condition, the Martins sometimes rely on the support of family and friends.
If we emigrate, then we won't have the support network that we've got back in the UK. And there's been occasions in the past where I've fallen and broken my elbow or done other sort of quite serious injury to myself.
With all this to think about, will they stay in the UK or go where they're wanted down under? Anyone who's under 45 and works in a profession that's in demand could be fast-tracked to a new life down under. New immigration rules mean that 50 Brits a day from all walks of life are packing their bags and heading for Australia. But how much thought goes into such a big decision? We've put our British family to the ultimate test. They've got just 1 week to try out their future down under. They'll have to find out everything they can before voting whether to stay in the UK or move to Australia. Ian and Joanna Martin from Mold in North Wales are considering a massive change to their way of life. Whether to move with their 2 children, Kira and Connor, to Australia.
I think what we're looking for is quality of life, really, more time outside with the children. We feel that if we move now, we can spend, you know, the years that we have growing up with the kids, hopefully in a warmer climate, and hopefully able to offer the children better opportunities when they finish school.
Connor especially is very keen on a move. He can't wait to jump right into a sporting Aussie lifestyle.
When we talk about Australia, he's beaming about it, you know, he says that he wants to go, when are we going, he's all up for it, so from his point of view, he doesn't seem fazed by it at all.
So Ian and Connor are all for it, but any move depends on Joanna. She works as a nurse conducting trials on new drugs for cancer treatment.
If I can go into trials, then that'd be fantastic, because that's what I've been doing for the past couple of years and that's what I enjoy doing. Whether or not that'd be possible or not, I don't really know.
She wants to continue working part-time, so if they're to have the same quality of life, it's important that Ian finds work too. He currently works as a disability sports development officer.
I think it's probably pretty common knowledge that Australia's got a really rich sporting sort of history and pedigree. So I would like to think that I'll be able to go over there and hopefully find work in a similar sort of environment.
For Ian, work is more than just a job. He first became involved in disability sports when his own disability began to affect him physically.
The condition that I have is called Charcot-Marie-Tooth syndrome, which is a bit of a mouthful, but essentially it's a neurological condition that leads to muscle wasting. And so in terms of day-to-day living, it impacts on how far I can walk, how long I can stand. I can't run anymore. Getting up and down stairs is a nightmare. My balance is very dodgy, to say the least.
None of this has stopped Ian indulging his great love for cricket, and he's worked for several years as a volunteer disability cricket coach.
And it's something that I enjoy immensely. So I think I'm going to miss that, you know, perhaps more than anything outside of friends and family.
Friends and family play an important role in Joanna's life too, and she relies on their support, especially from Ian's mum, who lives close by.
If something happens with Ian, she's going to be stuck with the 2 children, and nobody round the corner to help out. I mean, if they needed help, it would take us 2-3 days to get there, not 5 minutes as it is now.
The one thing that would scupper the move, really, I think, would be if Joanna wasn't comfortable with leaving. But I think what we're being offered now in terms of going out and trialling it, that will hopefully go some way to proving to her that yes, she can manage the move, or no, she's going to struggle with it. And if she's going to struggle, then we won't go. End of.
But at the end of the day, for Ian and Joanna, it's all about spending more quality time with their children.
You never know what's going to happen in your life and where it's going to take you, and you only just get that one chance. And I just think, as a family, it'd be really good.
You know, if I can finish work and then take the kids down to the beach, then I think that's what we're looking for, really.
The Martins came to meet me in London to talk through their options. Welcome, Martin family, who are thinking of moving out to Australia. Why, Ian, why?
You know, you only live once, and we just fancied sampling life on the other side of the world, really.
Oh, that sounds good to me. And it was Ian's idea initially, is that right?
Well, you'd spoken quite a few times about it, haven't you, over the past few years, and I'd always said, no, I didn't think I could do it, and then I just thought, well, you only get one chance, why not give it a go and just see where it takes us, and this is where it's taken us, so see what happens.
So we gave you 3 different options to choose from, but shall we have a look first at the one in the country?
Okay.
Ian, I shall give you this.
Thank you.
So take us to the country, Ian. Your country option is based in the La Trobe Valley, a region to the east of Melbourne. It has good parks and schools and is a great place for families. Nicole Steers tells us more about the job at the local hospital.
Hi Joanna, this is the unit where we deliver chemotherapy. It's only been open for 12 months and it's a facility we're extremely proud of.
You'd be just over an hour's drive from Melbourne, so what sort of property is on offer in this area? Well, take a look at this gorgeous period home priced at £180,000, which is typical of houses here.
Joanna, really hope you consider coming and working here and really consider choosing us.
So, what do you think of that one?
It did look really, really nice. Yeah. House looked lovely, didn't it?
Is that a big part of this move, the property side of it?
I don't think it's a motivation to go out there and make money.
Yeah.
If we can go out there and have the same standard of living as what we've got over here, plus the sunshine, I think we'd be
Sunny
happy.
days, be nice.
Yeah.
And what about that job, Joanna? How did that look?
So it would be slightly different working on a chemo ward, but it's something that I haven't done before, so it'd be interesting.
So you're not afraid of all this change?
I'm going to give it a go.
Ooh, I like it. OK, well, let's have a look at the city. Melbourne's the setting for your city option. With its trendy bars, art centres and music festivals, there's always a great buzz. This option comes with a job as a specialist cancer nurse at the Austin Hospital. Paul Mitchell tells us more.
Austin Health is an absolutely fantastic employer. We have a large clinical trials program here for cancer patients, so there's lots of opportunity to get involved.
If you opt for city life, you could afford this stylish 3-bedroom home priced at £185,000. Best of all, it's only a short commute to the city.
So Joanna, I really hope that you choose us. You will certainly never regret it.
He wants you, Joanna.
Yeah.
Do you want him?
It's really good there as well, doesn't it?
Really nice. Yeah.
What about the city life? As you said, you're more rural folk at the moment.
Moving from sort of the environment that we live in now straight into a city, that might be too much to take on, given that you're moving to the other side of the world as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I think we consider it.
Kids, should we have a look at the seaside?
See the beach?
Yeah, let's have a look at the beach, Dad. The coastal option in the town of Geelong offers a relaxed Aussie lifestyle. The town's about an hour's drive from Melbourne. Prince Charles found it very much to his taste when he went to school here in the 60s. This option comes with a job at the Cancer Care Centre at the Geelong Hospital. Nurse Helen Campbell tells us more.
Hey Joanna, we all enjoy a drink at the pub and we drag our husbands and children along to all those events. So we're very family friendly and family orientated.
With this option comes the prospect of a place like this stylish 4-bedroom property priced at £185,000.
And we're really looking forward to you being here and really hope that you pick us. So come on down.
What do you think of that?
That one looked really nice too.
It did look really nice, I know what I want to say, but
What do you want to
sure
say?
how professional she sounded saying we all work in a cancer ward all day and then we just disappear down the pub.
Oh, no. Then that's the Aussies.
Yeah. No, it did look nice, didn't it? The house looked fantastic as well.
Which one did you like, Connor?
The middle one. The city.
The city.
The city,
That's the one
did
you
you?
liked, is it?
So you liked the city, but what did you all choose?
Which one did we choose to do?
Don't know.
Shall I give you a clue?
Is it the beach?
What?
The coast.
Oh, I thought you were saying the ghost.
The coast.
So you chose the coast.
We chose the
Why?
coast, yeah. If we were going to leave the UK, then it would need to be to something pretty idyllic, really. And the coast option sort of suited us best,
The
I
classic
think.
dream.
Yeah,
it is,
yeah.
isn't it?
Well, let's take a look and see how you did. The Martins plumped for the coastal option for their week's tryout at life in Australia. Their time is limited to decide whether to take this leap into an unknown future. They're feeling every minute of their exhausting 24-hour flight and the reality of the distance they are from home.
I wish you could say it feels quite away, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
miles away. I think when you think about the time difference, I think that puts it in context how far away from home we are.
And they've got a lot to think about at the start of their week in Australia.
I don't think it's all cut and dry. I think, just being here for a week is quite difficult to make a comparison. But it'll give us a good insight into what we can let ourselves into.
After the rigours of the flight, even loading the car seems an uphill struggle.
It's just trying to get the chair in.
You can just wait for a minute, Connor, right? Yeah.
Oh wow, you get everything in the back of this, but it's not actually that big. Because we want it down under, not the Krypton factor, isn't it?
The Martins are staying in Geelong, a coastal town about 50 miles southwest of Melbourne and the state of Victoria's second city. The house they'll be living in for a week is a typical Aussie home, close to the beach, with 3 bedrooms, a spacious garden and lots of period styling.
Hey? Right.
Oh wow, look at this!
Ooh.
This is amazing. Alright.
Just...
I can't believe we could afford this, I really can't. This is just lovely,
Brilliant,
isn't it?
Yeah?
Absolutely lovely. We just couldn't ask for any more, really. I mean, the house is great, the sun's shining, and yeah, it's perfect. It's what we're looking for from Australia. First impressions in terms of weather and property, big plus.
Ian's enthusiasm isn't shared by Joanna, who's too busy to think about what she could be leaving behind in the UK.
I don't really feel that, I'm missing somebody right now, because there's just too much going on. I've got time to think, really, of who we're missing and what else is happening. It's just making sure that the kids are okay and they're happy and they're settled, which they seem to be. So, as long as they're happy, then, the next few days we'll just see how they go.
A major factor in a new life down under would be whether they could afford a house which suits them as much as their 3-bedroom bungalow back home. They've got around £150,000 to spend, and we've found 3 houses for them to view. The first property is a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house in East Geelong. It has all mod cons and a spacious garden. It's on the market for $345,000. That's just over £145,000. Estate agent Kerry Stotton greets them outside.
Hi Kerry, nice.
Stotton from Hocking Stewart. Hello.
This house offers an impressive open-plan living area.
That's all right. It's a bit boring looking at houses.
Go on after you.
Come through. Now the property's only a couple of years old. So go through to your left. That's the main bedroom. You've got ensuite and a walk-in robe.
Oh, yeah.
It's big, isn't it?
So very, very nice, very modern. So have you looked at many properties?
No, this is
This is the first.
All right.
Apart from the one we're staying in. Wow. It's marvellous, isn't
Really
it?
good, isn't it? It's nice and big.
Compared with our property back home, this is a lot bigger. A lot bigger.
Connor's already feeling at home.
Love it.
You love it, do you? So would you have this room?
Yeah.
Would you? Why is that?
We'll play on my taking all night.
Okay, well that's not your PlayStation, is it?
You've got a good size land area.
Garden could do with some work.
And therefore that's why the price is a little bit cheaper. It just needs that little bit of finishing off. But a good little pallet.
You could say that, but what really counts for the family is what the area has to offer.
What have we got within walking distance for the children in terms
Well,
of
you've got,
play areas?
Yeah, you've got your school and you've got a playground, you know, or park up there. Your waterfront isn't walking distance, but it's only a couple of minutes drive in the car, and you've got great facilities there.
It seems to give them everything they need, and all for a reasonable price of around £145,000.
Compare that to home, there's no way.
You can't compare it.
No, you would not
value
get
for
this.
money. Yeah, value for money over here is a lot better.
It's looking good so far.
It's a nice, good sized bungalow, isn't it?
It's got lots of potential, but
I can feel a butt coming on.
who's going to see this? Stinks of dogs. Stinks of dogs. And we've had a bad experience with a house that stinks of dogs. So, I mean, this could be a palace and we wouldn't buy it.
It is nice and big though, isn't it?
She won't say anything bad about anything.
It's difficult to say though, isn't it? Because like, once you've...
Let's hope there are no nasty smells at property 2, which is in Geelong West, a sought-after area of the city. It's got some lovely period details and can offer 3 decent-sized bedrooms.
Yeah, you've gone from modern with no garden. This one's got a lovely established garden, and it's probably 1920s, 1930s when it was built.
The asking price is $389,000, about £165,000.
Yeah, window's nice, huh?
This older house has bags of character.
Lovely and light, but you've got your beautiful open fireplace, and that's been restored. So as you can see, this is your dining room. This has got the polished floors. You've got another fireplace, so you'll see lots of fireplaces in homes of this age.
This is lovely.
I like it.
Really
Yeah, I really like it.
Yes, very nice, yeah.
Nice living area. Nice kitchen.
Come through, we've got another living area. So you can have your formal lounge, and this can be your family room. There's only one bathroom, but a very large, spacious bathroom.
Oh, it is as well.
Fantastic laundry. You've got lots of bench space and cupboard space.
Nice, isn't it?
No, it is. It's cracking.
Size and value for money are very impressive, and there's even more outside.
A small studio.
Hey, could we make this your playroom? You could create as much havoc in here as you wanted and leave me and Mummy in peace. What do you think?
What's the verdict?
In terms of its location, 5 minutes from the shops, 5 minutes from the beach, a lovely house.
It's near the schools as well.
Near the schools, yeah. This for me, it's got everything going for it.
The only thing that it'd probably be a bit of a drawback for me is that it's got 3 bedrooms rather than 4, which is what we were looking for.
This place, or
It doesn't tick all Connor's boxes.
I want a bigger garden.
you want a bigger garden, and what would you do in the garden if it was bigger?
Play cricket.
Play cricket. All right, okay.
I don't like this house.
You don't like it? That's that then. It won't be this house. Got to keep the little man happy.
Well, they did say the move would be for the kids. They liked the period details of the last house, but there weren't enough bedrooms, so maybe property 3 can offer them what they want. Last but not least, the third house is a centrally located, large family home with 4 bedrooms and some original features. It's on the market for $410,000 or £175,000.
Okay, come through.
Cute. Wow, look at this.
Now we've got another period style home, which you can see you've got your beautiful decorative cornicing, beautiful timber fretwork and lead light windows. Most of them have the open fires, and that one has been restored beautifully.
It's really nice, isn't it?
Now this room could be used as a bedroom or a formal dining room or an office. So you can see the way it's set up as an office.
Yeah.
A main bedroom. As you can see, it's quite a good sized room.
Yeah, it's really nice.
It's nice and airy, isn't it? And nice and light.
Nice and light.
Yeah.
In spite of the price tag, it's what estate agents call in need of some modernisation.
As you can see, the kitchen's very 60s. You've got your nice bright orange tiles, which of course probably are coming back in fashion now. So yeah, so good size room.
She's gone for the hard sell on the retro kitchen, but it's perhaps not to Joanna's taste.
If we were interested in it and went ahead, you know, wanted to buy it, then we would need a new kitchen really before we moved in.
And that's not the only thing that'll need some attention.
Quite a good size bathroom, but of course no
that's okay.
bath.
No bath.
No bath, and you've got young children, so
Okay.
probably not the ideal. This is your backyard. Okay. So you've got a garden shed there. You've got an outside laundry, so that was fairly common, you know, sort of 40, 50 years ago. A lot of people have put them inside, but this one's still outside.
Ian's mindful of his needs.
Probably the slope down from the back door and then the step onto another slope. That's awkward, yeah. So there's probably a bit of work we'd like to do to the back of the property, I think.
Nice just to have a bit of a garden really for children.
Make it good for us.
Yeah.
But what about the kitchen?
The kitchen was interesting. It needed a lot of work doing to it, particularly taken by the estate agent's description of the nice orange surround, which I thought was a bit 1970s, and it might be coming back in fashion in Geelong, but not in my kitchen. Probably not the property for us, I don't think.
Doggy smells and orange kitchens notwithstanding, they found something to like about all three houses. It's hard to tell which way they'll vote.
I'm happy with what we've got back home, because that property for us gives us everything that we need, and we've not seen that in the three properties that we've seen today. So if I was asked to cast a vote today based on what we've seen, then I think I would have to go for the UK. Everybody else? 1, 2, 3. Connor's gone for Australia.
And Kira.
And Kira.
After some disappointment on the house front, the Martins are hoping the lifestyle in Australia could offer them a bit of compensation. After all, they say it's a better life they're after and more quality time to spend with their children. And what better way to make the most of their coastal option than at the seaside? They've taken Connor and Kira down to the local beach, just minutes from where they're staying.
I think, you know, with the weather and the palm trees, and it's just beautiful, and all the yachts. Yeah. I could see it spending a lot of time down here. It's really clean as well. That is one big difference, I think, from home, is this is all, it's just immaculate. You know, we haven't seen any litter or dog dirt or anything, and that's, you know, a big plus.
And this is what the kids have been waiting for.
He is, isn't he? Absolutely in his element. Right, what have we got in here, mate?
Like father, like son, Connor's only interested in one thing.
I didn't think for a minute anybody else would get a chance of batting first.
It was dreaming about days like these that made Ian want to make the move down under.
The vision that we had really was sort of finish school or finish work and then come down the beach and do a bit of this of an evening. So, you know, just being here and being able to do it is fantastic.
It's obvious that Connor's settled right in, but what about Kira?
I wasn't too sure how Kira would take to it, because sometimes she can be a bit wary, you know, when she first gets somewhere. She likes her own routine, but she's really surprised me. She's just taken to it. She's happy, and that's what's important, as long as they're happy.
Yeah, we've seen a new side to Kira, and she's definitely more confident since she's been out here.
So the children are happy. How does the coastal lifestyle suit Ian and Joanna?
We've seen sort of the outskirts of Geelong, which sort of seem to be okay, don't they? But when you come down to the beach down here and on the seafront, it's really lovely.
I think he gets a thumbs up from us at the moment.
They've all had a great time, but the fun's taken its toll on Ian. His muscle-wasting condition means that too much time on his feet wears him out, but his thoughts are of his children.
It's just brilliant to see the pair of them so happy and carefree, and you know, that's what childhood's about, isn't it? That's how it should be.
you know, and I'm not saying they're not carefree and happy at home, but I think there's something about being next to the beach in the sun. This is everything that we wanted from the move, really.
They weren't too taken by the houses Australia has to offer, but their taste of Aussie beach life seems to have hit the spot. How will they vote on lifestyle?
It's time to vote, and I think my lifestyle choice would be Australia. Joanna?
Australia.
Connor?
Australia.
Kira? Not fussed.
Don't think of that.
Thumbs up for Australia.
Many families like the Martins would have to start off relying on one salary in Oz when they've been used to two in the UK. Finances are one of the biggest factors when weighing up whether to make this life-changing move. We've been finding out how much you're left with after tax. As in the UK, the Aussies have various income-related tax brackets. Accountant Rob Hay explains.
The Australian taxation system is essentially a progressive taxation system. The more you earn, the higher the level of tax that you'll pay. So for example, if you're earning $40,000 a year, you'll pay about $7,000 tax. But if you're earning $80,000 a year, you'll pay about $20,000 tax.
As with the UK's national insurance, a proportion of your Aussie wages will go on healthcare.
Another component of the Australian taxation system is the Medicare levy, which is levied at 1.5% of your taxable income. Now, the Medicare levy is everybody's contribution towards the medical system, so that all goes to the fantastic health system that we have here in Australia.
What about pensions?
In Australia, every employer is required by law to contribute 9% towards your retirement. So for example, if you're earning $100,000 a year, your employer will put $9,000 aside into your superannuation fund. You can't gain access to that money until you actually retire.
To sum up, on top of income tax, you'll also have to pay 1.5% of your earnings on healthcare. But unlike the UK, your employer is legally bound to contribute a sum equal to 9% of your salary to your retirement fund. The Martin family from Mould are keen to find out what life could be like if they moved down under. For some years, Ian's felt that moving his family across the world would give them all a better quality of life, especially the children Connor and Kira.
The vision that we had really was sort of finish school or finish work and then come down the beach and do a bit of this of an evening. So, you know, just being here and being able to do it, fantastic.
Joanna has some doubts about leaving a job she enjoys, as well as the support network she relies on to help her manage her life back in the UK.
You know, we've got a really good life here, we've got good jobs, nice house, good family and friends.
The coastal lifestyle available in Geelong seems to have won Joanna over.
When you come down to the beach down here and on the seafront, it's really lovely.
But the kind of homes they could perhaps afford were a disappointment.
I'm happy with what we've got back home because that property for us gives us everything that we need.
It looks like the Australian homes weren't what the Martins hoped for, but what about work? Well, it's crucial that any job Joanna gets has the flexibility she needs to get on with the rest of her life.
A few days into their trial week in Australia, it's time for Joanna to get a feel for work here. It's vital for the whole family that a job comes with the right conditions.
Have a nice morning. All right. I just hope that they're able to offer her part-time hours because that's important to us with having the children. And with me having the disability as well, it's difficult for me to look after the two children on my own.
Because Joanna's skills as a nurse are in demand in Australia, she's the one who would secure a visa for the whole family to move. She's not convinced about leaving the job she loves back home, so it's vital she likes the job on offer at the Andrew Love Oncology Centre.
I feel a bit nervous really, just going into a new hospital, seeing different things, not knowing what to expect really.
Joanna's come to meet Helen Campbell, nurse manager on the Cancer Day ward.
You're Joanna, are you?
Yeah, hello.
Oh, hi Joanna, I'm Helen. Pleased to meet you.
And
You've
you
come
too.
a long way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And how's it been since you've been here?
Not too bad.
Outpatients with cancer come here for chemotherapy treatment. Helen shows her around the ward.
We've got 12 chairs and 4 beds, so patients just normally...
What are Joanna's first impressions?
Looks nice and new. Looks really nice. Be interesting just to have a look round and just see what else there is to offer. But no, looks really nice. Everyone seems really friendly.
Best of all, it looks as though Joanna could continue working part-time.
I'm the only person that works full-time here, and everybody else works part-time. Most of the girls do 4 days a week, but I've got one girl that just does 2 days a week. And you'll find a lot in nursing in Australia that people are moving away from having full-time employment, and areas are actually looking for part-time people. It just seems to be the trend to try and keep nurses in nursing.
That's really good.
But the only job on offer is on the ward, and it's been 2 years since Joanna last treated a cancer patient, so she'd need retraining.
For me to come over here in a different country, a new hospital, and learn new skills would probably be an added pressure, really, to what I'm comfortable and happy doing now.
What's more, if Ian can't find a rewarding job, she might have to go back to working full-time. So he's exploring the possibility of finding work in his field of disability sports and has come to the Melbourne cricket ground to meet Luke Van Kempen of Cricket Australia.
If the family were to emigrate to Australia, then I'd need to know really that I could come over here and work in the same line of work.
In terms of the national disability sports organisations, there's probably limited roles within those. There's maybe 3, 4, 5 professional staff with each of those organisations. Yeah. There aren't a lot of opportunities, and people generally stay in these roles for a longer period of time than perhaps more mainstream employment. But they do rely on a mountain of volunteer staff to run all their events and to perform all the different workshops that they conduct. And you work your way through, and there's sometimes a full-time job at the end of the road.
That's disappointing. It looks as though working in disability sports development is not an option.
So what I would have to do is sort of widen the net a little bit and look for more generic sport development activity, which I've got a background in at home anyway. So it's not like I haven't got the skills to find other work in other areas of sport. You know, I'm sure I could do that. But the other thing I've got to bear in mind is that the sporting pedigree that Australia's got, there's probably hundreds of thousands of people in Australia already that want to work in sport development. So I'm probably moving into quite a competitive market.
For the Martins, opportunities for work in their chosen fields are looking a bit thin on the ground.
Okay.
But it's possible that Joanna may have just got a lucky break in clinical trials. Helen takes her to meet Professor Richard Bell, director of the centre who oversees cancer drugs trials.
Joanna, this is Richard Bell.
Hi,
Richard.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
We have an established trials process here. We employ 7 people as either trials nurses or as data managers.
Okay.
So that there's no question that your skills would be sought after in Australia. Our clinical trials operation is growing. I would anticipate that in our sort of hardcore cancer trials area we'll be hiring at least 1 individual between now and the end of the year. So I think there are very good opportunities that you could explore, and if you want to take it further then I'd suggest you keep in touch with us.
That looks good for the future, but how about now? There's only work available on the ward. How will this affect her vote?
From today's experience of working on a chemo ward and clinical trials at home, I'd have to vote for home.
So it's a no for now, but never say never.
I still feel positive about coming over here and looking for work. I wasn't sure how it would work, whether or not I would be able to walk into a job with clinical trials, which I still don't expect to do. But I know that there are job opportunities, and if there was a job available, then that could change the prospect of my idea of coming over here.
It's been a week of ups and downs for the Martins. Ian especially wanted to make this move for a better life for the family. But in an unexpected twist, it's Ian's work in the UK which may now become the deciding factor. He's just heard that he's been offered a new job as a disability cricket coach.
I've worked as a volunteer in this sort of field for the last 7 years. So to be offered the opportunity to do it, you know, full time, is a dream come true really for me.
Confused now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Just throw a spanner in the works, and it's just nothing straightforward anyway, is it?
It poses big problems for us now with regards to the decision to emigrate.
As the end of a long week of decision-making draws near, it's clear that the Martins are still very undecided on where their future lies.
And the unforeseen factor of Ian's job offer makes it all the harder. Perhaps these messages from loved ones back home will give them a nudge either way.
We really miss you. Wish you were here, really, but we know that this is your dream and that you're following it.
Jo, oh, she's the daughter I'd never had. She's absolutely beautiful, inside and out.
We pick the kids up and they sometimes come here, or we take them back to their home. And of course we must play cricket. Grandad, come on, cricket, Grandad.
Ian is just fun, isn't he?
Sports mad.
Sports mad, yeah.
Cricket, Everton Football Club, England. All he ever talks about is football, isn't it, and cricket.
Ian's mum has particular concerns about the idea of a move to Australia.
You know, if something happens with Ian, she's going to be stuck with the 2 children and nobody round the corner to, you know, help out. I mean, if they needed help, it would take us 2-3 days to get there, not 5 minutes as it is now. So that worries me.
They'll be all right, eventually. It'll take a while. They'll miss us and we'll miss them.
In my heart of hearts, and being totally selfish, I'd probably like them to stay.
Follow your dreams, and we'll see you soon. And take care, and we love you all lots.
Yeah, whatever decision you make.
We'll stand by you, 100%.
That was really nice.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? I think it makes the decision to move quite difficult when, you know, how upsetting it'll be for my parents, for Ian's parents, for our friends.
I think, to be fair, both parents held it together quite well there, didn't they?
That was really nice.
Yeah. Not sure about, I'm not sure which way my mum's coming. It's going to take her 3 days. She's coming on a ship or something.
But on a serious note, Ian's disability is an issue.
As I'm getting older, it's gradually getting worse, and what tends to happen is that I fall over a lot, or I trip a lot. And there's been occasions in the past where I've fallen and broken my elbow, or done other sort of quite serious injury to myself. And that has meant that I've not been able to sort of look after the children, or do a lot of jobs around the house or anything like that. So if those injuries sort of occur in the future, if we emigrate, then we won't have the support network that we've got back in the UK to help out with things like taking the children to school and things. So it would impact on Joanna an awful lot more.
I think if that was at the forefront, if something happened to one of us, then we shouldn't be looking at emigrating, because something could happen to me as well, and it's all ifs, buts and maybes, and there's no guarantees with anything.
If we live our lives by the fear of what might happen, then we wouldn't end up doing anything. But what's important to us really is the children's future. And, you know, I don't think either of our parents would begrudge us moving to Australia if that is our motivation and they can see benefits to the children that go with it.
So Ian and Joanna agree they wouldn't be put off by fear of what might happen in the future. Overall, it seems to have been a worthwhile trip for the Martins.
But I'm so glad for this experience, because, like, it's, you know, we've learned so much, haven't we, about the mortgages, about the house prices, a little bit, I suppose you could say mostly about Geelong, isn't it? And you weren't too sure about it when you first came here, but now we've had a bit of a look round. Yeah. It is a nice, safe place to bring up your children, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the week has thrown up some surprises.
You've been offered this job now, and this is the job that you've worked so hard to do and to get to. I think it's
it's just made that decision harder, really.
Yeah, it's complicated things. I think if I hadn't got the job, then I think it was going to be quite a straightforward decision, wasn't it?
In the end, everybody wants a better work-life balance and for their children to be happy.
You know, you only have to look at them now to see how much they're enjoying the sunshine and being outside, which was sort of everything we wanted from sort of coming out to Australia anyway. So we're just watching Connor. He's got himself a new Australian friend who he seems to be carting all over. Shot, Connor! I think one thing I've learned through the course of this week is that I probably work too much at home, and you know, just be able to sit here and chill out and watch your children enjoying themselves in a safe environment. That's, you know, that's all you can ask as a parent, I think.
For Ian and Joanna, it's come down to a stark choice between a dream life for them and their children in Australia and Ian's dream job back in the UK. It's crunch time, the final vote.
Okay, so taking everything into consideration, based on everything we've seen, what do we choose, guys? 1, 2, 3.
Australia.
UK for me too.
Connor's loved every moment of his week in Australia. He's very upset at his parents' decision.
I feel absolutely gutted for Connor. We've talked about coming out here a lot at home, and he's always said that he wanted to come out here, and Connor's really important in our family. To see him so upset because he wants to come out here and live, and we just can't do it at the moment. It's just a really, really tough decision. I'm gutted for him. I'm so upset for him.
Let me carry you. Just stand up. Come here.
Oh my goodness, how hard for you, especially for you, Connor. Tell me a bit about this job and why this changed your decision.
I've done a lot of sort of voluntary work over a number of years, and the opportunity to be full-time employed working in the fields come about, so I just feel as if it's something that I'd like to give a go.
But it's just the way it goes, isn't it?
It's just been a roller coaster, hasn't it, the whole thing?
Did you expect Connor to love it as much as he did? Because he really loved it out there.
We knew that the outdoor lifestyle out there would be right up his street.
So how bad do you feel then?
Very, very guilty.
Well, I think this is the perfect opportunity to ask you to vote one last time.
Thank you.
There we go.
Oh, no surprises there
No.
then. Still the UK for you guys and still Australia for you, Connor.
We're keeping our options open still,
Yeah,
aren't we?
yeah.
But
We'll see how we go, see where we are in a couple of years' time.
So, for the Martin family, it's a split decision, but they all still love each other, don't you, Martin family?
Yes.
Connor. Join us again when we'll be finding out how another British family got on when they were wanted down under. Welcome to Wanted Down Under, the show that follows a British family 10,000 miles across the world in search of a better life. Although he's never been there, Ian Martin's convinced a new life in Australia would give him and his wife Joanna much more quality time with their children, 6-year-old Connor and 2-year-old Kira.
You know, if I can finish work and then take the kids down to the beach, then I think that's what we're looking for, really.
Joanna, a nurse, would be the main visa applicant, so her opinion's crucial.
You know, we've got a really good life here, we've got good jobs, nice house, good family and friends. So I think perhaps going to a new country, a new city, a whole new way of life, that is a tough decision.
And because Ian lives with a disabling condition, the Martins sometimes rely on the support of family and friends.
If we emigrate, then we won't have the support network that we've got back in the UK. And there's been occasions in the past where I've fallen and broken my elbow or done other sort of quite serious injury to myself.
With all this to think about, will they stay in the UK or go where they're wanted down under? Anyone who's under 45 and works in a profession that's in demand could be fast-tracked to a new life down under. New immigration rules mean that 50 Brits a day from all walks of life are packing their bags and heading for Australia. But how much thought goes into such a big decision?
We've put our British family to the ultimate test. They've got just 1 week to try out their future down under. They'll have to find out everything they can before voting whether to stay in the UK or move to Australia.
Ian and Joanna Martin from Mould in North Wales are considering a massive change to their way of life. Whether to move with their 2 children, Kira and Connor, to Australia.
I think what we're looking for is quality of life, really, more time outside with the children. We feel that if we move now, we can spend the years that we have growing up with the kids, hopefully in a warmer climate, and hopefully able to offer the children better opportunities when they finish school.
Connor especially is very keen on a move. He can't wait to jump right into a sporting Aussie lifestyle.
When we talk about Australia, he's beaming about it, he says that he wants to go, when are we going? He's all up for it, so from his point of view, he doesn't seem fazed by it at all.
So Ian and Connor are all for it, but any move depends on Joanna. She works as a nurse conducting trials on new drugs for cancer treatment.
If I could go into trials, then that'd be fantastic, because that's what I've been doing for the past couple of years and that's what I enjoy doing. Whether or not that'd be possible or not, I don't really know.
She wants to continue working part-time, so if they're to have the same quality of life, it's important that Ian finds work too. He currently works as a disability sports development officer.
I think it's probably pretty common knowledge that Australia's got a really rich sporting sort of history and pedigree. So I would like to think that I'll be able to go over there and hopefully find work in a similar sort of environment.
For Ian, work is more than just a job. He first became involved in disability sports when his own disability began to affect him physically.
The condition that I have is called Charcot-Marie-Tooth syndrome, which is a bit of a mouthful, but essentially it's a neurological condition that leads to muscle wasting. And so in terms of day-to-day living, it impacts on how far I can walk, how long I can stand. I can't run anymore, getting up and down stairs.